Today we're in my hometown in Terrassa, and we've come to see an incredible collection of Jeeps and war trucks. And they're just 2 minutes away from my house. So let's take advantage and go see this magnificent collection, which is also managed by a young person, so let's go check it out. If you haven't seen it, do you never watch? It has this curiosity that if we hadn't done this in the video, it would have even seemed wrong. My name is Mark and I'm a car fanatic. Good morning, Sergey. Good morning. How are you? How are you doing? Very well, go ahead. Thank you for inviting me. I was really looking forward to seeing your collection. Why this gentleman? We sometimes run into each other at outings here in Terrassa. And one time I see him with a Jeep, another day I see him with a different one, another day with a truck, and I say, hey, how many do you have? And he told me about 20, yes, he told me about 20 the last time, and I said, wow, well, we'll have to make a collection video, and that's why I'm here. Come in, go ahead. Sergey, which car are we taking for a spin now? Well, because to me they're all Jeeps. Now we'll be in a Ford mood from '84. So it's not a Jeep, it's a Ford. It's not a Ford. It looks like a Jeep from here. Just looking at it from the side, it gives you the feeling that it's a Jeep. Designed by Ford and produced by General Motors. What engine does this have? Is this similar to a Ford Sierra or something like that? Yes. But amphibious? Amphibious? Yes, I see it now. It's amphibious and has a carburetor. Alright, this gives about 90 horsepower. And this one? Where did you buy it? And we bought this one from a friend of ours here near Sabadell, but it comes from the Nevada desert. They imported the car from there, no rust whatsoever. It has a little bit, well, something like that, a superficial, which is more or less already repaired, and it's all in original paint with the markings. How do I like them? And we discovered the history of the car, that it was with the Marines, it said Marine Corps, and its original registration number appeared. 5085. You can see it better from the back. Let's look from behind. Wait, let me help you. Now we're gonna take a walk, guys. No, I don't see it here. It would be here, 5065. Oh, and the 3. I'm not sure what it is. Could it be 43? Yes? Well, this was its original American Army license plate? Yes, yes. Well, let's go for a ride, so let's see. What's the experience of going with a Ford, right? What year is this exactly? 84, 84. Isn't it pretty old? No, although it gives you the feeling of being an older car. The one that came before the Hummer, from here came the Hummer. It's already a bit wider than the Willys. Now that you mention it, it does look wider. Independent coil suspension. Interestingly, the front and rear differentials are interchangeable. Interesting. Can you see it around here? Any reason? The tip of the drive shaft? Yes, if you put it in the front there. If you put it in the back, the drive shaft would come out here. This was so if the front one broke, you could move it to the back and continue. Okay, so it was like a spare for the rear. Exactly, it was like having a spare already installed in the car. Correct. That's a really good idea. Well, let's go. Are we going to need the shovel or not? Let's hope not. This one already has 4 gears. Let's go. A little bit of gas. It's very, very low. It's not connected. Okay, yes. The oil pressure, engine temperature, what? And the battery level, we see the generator. Works very well. The choke, which is the starter. Here, where it says throttle, this is to increase the speed of the vehicle, but the hand throttle would be not the one by the foot, and this is to close the vehicle's ventilation valves. Here you can see it written. We switch to 24 volts, 24 volts. Today, I haven't just discovered an incredible collection of jeeps and trucks from World War II, I've also discovered Sergio's passion. During the hours we spent this morning, I was surprised by how he looks at them, touches them, and how his eyes light up whenever he talks about them. His love for these cars is genuine and almost contagious, and it made me enjoy this experience a lot, more than just a walk among historic vehicles. It has been a perfect morning, learning and sharing the passion of someone who lives for and because of these Jeeps. And next, you'll see what I'm talking about in the video. Do you like driving around Terrassa with these cars? I always choose these cars. I've seen you before. Well, with this car, the only thing we've done to it is change the tires because they were in really bad shape. They were the original ones and we had to change them so we could drive properly. And we didn't even have to do the brakes because it already had silicone brake fluid from the factory. They put it in and we didn't touch anything with the brakes, nothing at all. We checked the fluid levels, everything was perfect, and there was grease everywhere. We just added some and that was it. And then you started using it. And what I find funniest is that it's young. He comes with his car, has his coffee here, makes himself breakfast while he's watching the center. Fabulous. Do you want to sell your classic car? Subscribe. On my website, Mark's Garage, you can list it for just €1. I prepare the description and post your phone number so you can sell it directly. We are the largest classic car community in the country. We share projects with you, stories, and now we also help you sell. And when we have more listings each week, I'll make reels and shorts with the 3 classics I like the most, or the latest ones that have arrived on the website. Sergey, how did this begin? It was around 71 or 72. My father bought a blue SM38. Shall we go see it? Yes, let's go. Yes. He bought a 1951 SM38. He bought it in Arenys de Mar, here in Catalonia, and it had the original engine and everything. But my father took out the original engine to put in a seat engine, one from a 124, so he could go everywhere with it. He didn't modify anything from the original car and just put in a seat engine. Now I see you don't have it. We've already taken out the engine to put the original one back in. Because my father kept the original mounts. The original Willys engine mounts and the entire Willys gear shift were the only things that changed. That's what it is. How did this car perform with a 124 engine? Of course, with this car in the 70s and 80s, you could go anywhere on the highway. You could go 110, 120 perfectly. With the Jeep, with a top that closed perfectly, and I used it as my daily car. I only had this car. And the idea is to put the original engine back in, which you have. Now, little by little, it has to be back in it. Are the seats also from the 124? No, these seats are from an American car. I don't know if they're from a Lincoln or something like that. I have the emblem that was stuck here somewhere, and that's how it came out of the army. I guess when this car was in the army, it had controls and they put in more comfortable seats. And we've been collecting all the original parts, everything that's here. These are the car's original plates, which show the year, chassis number, everything. And now we're here with the dashboard disassembled, changing the gauges it had, which weren't original Willie's ones, because he put in the right gauges for the engine it had. And now we're getting all the original parts from that era again. And the little box? This one I see here. This box is for the battery. The battery goes inside here. It takes two because this car is also 24 volts. And this box is the original one, which my father kept for many years. And here goes one of the two batteries, which were enclosed inside a box to be able to work here. These are new. They're replicas that a friend made for me with stainless steel, and they turned out identical to the originals.
And here inside the car, which is a bit messy. So is this the idea of installing these two new boxes?
No, I'll install the original one I have and keep these for other cars. And here I have all its parts that I'm restoring little by little. The ones from the floor, which is removable.
But is this what you do for a living?
No, this is a hobby. It's totally a hobby that my father and I do like most of us.
Yes, it might look like I'm a professional, like I have a Jeep workshop, but no.
We have less than we'd like in the afternoons, for a while, or on weekends, whenever you have time.
Yes, and little by little we're getting things done.
Look, this is the engine it had. We took it out during the pandemic and we still haven't had time to put its own back in. We'd need another pandemic to have that extra time we all had, right?
Exactly.
He's really lucky to have a girl who follows him everywhere and is very involved. Esto has been really lucky, hasn't he? Many of us sometimes don't have what we would like, and this gentleman does, right? So the whole family goes in the Jeep, my father, mother, you, me, and my partner.
Yes, I've seen the photos of your mother driving. She really enjoys it and likes the Jeep too. So from what I understand, it was your father who started the collection?
Well, I guess so, because he used to have just a couple before, and well, if he bought one, he would fix it up and sell it. But little by little, he wanted to have one of each model. And since I like them too, we've been expanding the collection. So which one was the first then?
I understand that the first one was this car. This was the first one he bought.
He started the collection with this vehicle, although he didn't know it was going to be a collection yet. He wanted a Jeep, and well, little by little, he took this car apart piece by piece when he bought it. He used it for about a year or so, more or less in its original condition, and then he took it apart completely to fit the new engine. But the whole body was taken apart. The chassis stripped, differentials, everything disassembled, and then he put it all back together, and it was running up until the pandemic. And by then the engine had very low compression and everything, and it wasn't the original one, and now what we're aiming for is to have them as original as possible. We kept its engine and decided to go ahead. Did your father always keep it?
Yes, always?
Yes. Wow, really? It's also about having the space and vision to believe what was done can be reversed? Exactly. And he did this well? So is there motivation and passion in this collection? And I wonder, what does it mean to you to preserve these vehicles from World War II? Because I know you're not into wars. No, we're not. But on the other hand, I don't know if you've noticed that you're surrounded by all these war vehicles. So, I don't know. I can see it in your profile. Now with a sub-collection of weapons, right? Hidden? Yeah, and you tell me you don't like wars, right? So it's more about the passion for cars.
Us and history, huh?
Was that the first 4x4 built as a car, not a truck? Since 4x4 trucks already existed, just as a light car?
It was the first one, the Willys, the military Bantam.
That's what we enjoy, knowing we own one of the first 4x4s. And how has it evolved up to now?
There are the Wranglers, and we have a 1992 IJ Wrangler, a 4000. It's not here, it's in another warehouse.
And it's also in its original condition. So, from this comment you told me,
I see that you have different models in the collection. Exactly. Why don't we take a look at which models you have? And we go through them a bit. All of us here who don't understand these vehicles, could you explain the differences to us? What do you think? Shall we do this? Well, we'll come back now and you can explain it to us. A little bit from each of us. We'll start by looking at the models from World War II. The oldest one we have is this one, which is a Dodge WC-52 from, well, late 41, one of the first units ever made. It has a Chrysler engine. Let's see if I can show it here. These were used in the war as the backbone of the American military. For the engine, its original one, which we're now getting up and running because this car has been sitting for over 30 years. It's the last one we bought. We bought it exactly a week ago. Yes. We're already starting it up. Are you excited? Yeah. You can see it inside. It has the original seats. Yes, they're beautiful, aren't they? And the whole dashboard with its plates and everything. Well, as original as possible too. You seem to like original cars, right? So you're not into unusual modifications? We like them to be as faithful as possible to how they came out of the factory with the modifications we make. They can be equipment that they used to have back in the day, like fuel cans, shovels, well, all these kinds of things. And inside here, it's loaded with things that the previous owner gave us, who gave us a lot of little things to dress it up. He gave us period medical supplies for the ambulance, we'll see later. It's really nice. Tools from that time period as well. A pump, right? Yeah, for inflating the tires. And well, he also gave us some ropes, little things that those of us who restore military vehicles really like as props, just like these sacks. Exactly. Let's take a look at the back part. Come on. So you can see it? How big is this truck? It's not that big, right? In World War II, it was basically the second largest vehicle size. There was the Willys, and then we moved on to the Dodge. And bigger than that, the General Motors Company, there were even larger ones, like the Pacific, already used to recover tanks and similar equipment. This one, I think, is not even 4.5 meters long, more or less. And then, I'm not sure, you know? And the next vehicle after this one, which is the General Motors Company exactly. Now we'll go see the General Motors Company, which I have down there. Just yesterday we took off the hood to do some painting, so now you can't see the hood. But this vehicle is also quite original. This one is much bigger, like a truck. Yes, this is the smallest of the big ones that were made for World War II, but it already has. Can a Jeep fit in the back? Can it fit inside? Perfectly, yes, here you can. The idea is to go somewhere with the Jeep in the back. Yes. In fact, this year we went to Guicharon for a military vehicle gathering that's held every year near Manresa. Yes, our friend Ferenc Sivila from Club Historics organizes it. And this year we went with 2 GMCs, one belonging to a friend of ours and this one, and many times we've brought Jeeps inside. Totally original. Yes, that's right. More info. What a steering wheel, huh? The steering wheel is actually French. It doesn't have the original one, which would be made of wood. But we're in the process of getting one, so we can have it. Yes, but was it that big? Yes, the same, but made of wood. The same, but made of wood. Yes. And it's a convertible, like a Willys. You can take the top off the cabin and the bed, and it stays open, and you can lower the windshield. This windshield, once the top is off, you lower it and it rests like this on top of the hood. That's why this piece, no, this piece is for the hood. You don't see this? Yes, this stays hidden inside the hood. I mean, it goes on top of the, yes, it would be here, flat on top of the hood. It must have some rubber stoppers, I imagine. Well, there's a stopper here so that when it comes down, it tilts and rests here. Okay? And it stays horizontal. Horizontal without touching the hood. Exactly, so it doesn't rest on the hood? No, it stays parallel but doesn't touch the hood. Let's take a look at the back. What I like the most is the maximum speed, 40 miles. The typical lettering they used to do, and still do in the United States, right? We make all these stencils ourselves and paint them little by little.
Well, here you can see the truck bed, which is missing the benches that used to be here made of wood, which we're restoring now. They were foldable so you could transport troops. Exactly. Okay, yes. You're proud, huh? Well, we've been restoring it little by little. It was in pretty good shape. It was mostly intact, but we've been finishing it up by putting on the tarps, and we've fixed the brakes. Now I'm also changing all the tires. The ones in the front are already new, and the ones in the back are still old, but we're doing it little by little. You restore it and spend a lot of hours? I imagine with your father, yes, the two of us worked on it together on weekends. That's how we did it. Are you an only child? I have an older brother who also works with cars, but restoring old cars isn't his thing. He doesn't have your passion? Exactly. Sometimes it skips a generation, but not this time. Has your father been lucky? So which model stands out the most now? Trucks? You don't have any more here, just the ambulance. I have the ambulance, so we'll see when we talk. Let's talk about the vehicles from the Vietnam War. Okay, now we still need to see those from World War II. The Willys military Bantam, which is the most manufactured vehicle during World War II, which, as you know, had two manufacturers, Willys, until 1945. From 1942 to 1945, they were made by two manufacturers, Willys and Ford. This one, for example, is a Willys unit that is quite original. We can see the flathead 4-cylinder engine. All the valves are in the block, and we can start it up. We can see the cylinder head. Now it's got 10 stop now. What does flathead mean? It's a flathead. These are the best engines because they have the least problems. They're very easy. They don't have the problem with valve guides that use up so much oil. Or if the timing breaks, you don't ruin the engine because the valves don't hit the cylinders. And let's try to start it up. Let's see. Just by pressing the clutch, right? No, this one uses a button but without touching the clutch. Okay. Shall we see? Here you make contact, and here with your foot, which is a switch. Yes, it's a switch that activates. Let's see if we can see it. Okay, I see it now. Down here. Yes, I see it. This one. Here you can see the switch, which is this one right here. It's the same switch that cars from the 1920s have. Exactly. American ones. It's the one I always use to start my Star. I don't know if yours is direct. When it's on top of a starter motor or it goes with a cable and it's electric like this one, then it works. This one also sends current to the starter motor. Exactly. And on the other hand, the Dodge uses a foot switch. Look, we can see it. I actually have it disassembled right here. I'm adding it. This is a starter motor from a 52 Dodge. The difference is that you manually push the Bendix all the way out, and when it gets here, it starts. But with the Willys, just by pressing the button, it acts directly here, and it fires up. This one is manual. Exactly. Do you like getting your hands dirty? Yeah, it's not very tidy, but we keep doing small things. Otherwise, it would be impossible. Exactly. Who repairs a truck like this for you? No, well, we would find someone, but they don't do it as well as maybe. Do you like leaving them? With original bolts, you always try to look for them. You don't use hardware store screws. You use screws from that era. If it's a Ford, you look for bolts stamped with the Ford F. For Willys, there are different brands and models of bolts. They're measured in inches. And where do you buy all of this? There are things you can find as replacements, but many times you buy old parts just to salvage them. Screws. Here we can see, I think I have a few screws around here. All of this is Willys screws, and there are different brands of screws. Here we can see. For example, these ones that have an A, Boots A, These ones that have a TR, what model would they be from? That would be all for Willys, since there are things that are body parts and things that are mechanical parts. And then we can look at the Ford ones, which are very nice. With the F for Ford, I'm not sure if you can see it clearly stamped on the screw,
And well, there's a lot like that, a lot. Well, it has the old F for Ford, old, yes. With that, there are several models, because as the war went on, it changed. The F would be thicker, thinner, and it kept changing. You have a wide range of screws, right? Here we have wheel nuts, both for the right and for the left, which are not the same. Well, Jeep parts for the rear tow hooks. This is to tie the chains of the tow hook. Well, parts that get used. This is really sick. Yeah, it's awesome. Did he know you? But I didn't think it was at this level, huh? Yeah. Oh, what grade do we give it? High? Huh? Now we can see a Willys from underneath, also a military Bantam from World War II, and we can see how simple everything is. It's very, very simple. Do you like working on these cars because of how simple they are? Exactly, because you might not know how it's done, but just by looking a little, you can immediately see how easy and simple it is. Why didn't you study to become a mechanic? Well, I studied to be a ship mechanic. In naval mechanics, I took a course in Barcelona, but I don't work in that field. We have another family business, we have swimming pools, a gym, and besides that, well, we're very well known here in the city. Everyone from Terrace has gone swimming in their pool. That's right. And, well, this is more like a hobby. We haven't studied car mechanics, neither my mother nor I. But, well, do you have any idea? A little bit, yes. With this car, where would we go now? Where would the story take us? Now, it would take us to the first civilian Jeep that came out, which would be the FJ3A. FJ3A. Would that be this one here? We're talking about a gasoline engine, right? Yes, the engine is the same. Only the chassis, body, and gearbox changed slightly. Did they reinforce some things? But this one is no longer military. This is civilian Jeep, as the civilian designation says. Jeep, it was the first one sold to the civilian public because when World War II ended, and that wooden part here, those were the supports. So when you lower the windshield, it rests here and is tied with a rope here. And they were made of wood? They were made of wood? Yes. Not of iron, no, of wood, not of wood. The ones from World War II are a bit different, but they're also made of wood. They go through a bit more precisely and discreetly, huh? Is it finer? Maybe you never realized they were made of wood. I had never realized it until today when I saw these civil ones so clearly, right? These, for example, are not original. We made these ourselves, but here we can see some originals that already look a bit more worn out. Well, these have a rubber piece. The rubber is not original, but it works well because they don't wear out as much. This is the first one made for civilians. Before this one, there was the civilian Jeep 2, which was very similar. There's just a small difference in the windshield. Did I show you a Jeep? Yes, I went to see one. Barfing. I'm going to leave the link in the description because that car was for sale. And you already know that if anyone is interested in selling a car for €1, they can put it on the Mars Garage page. Here's the website, w.marsgarage. So then, that Jeep, we saw there was also a civilian Jeep because it was already from 1949. Yes, a bit militarized because it's, for example, green in color. They've put the spare tire and the jerry can on the back. Now we can push this one forward a bit and we'll see it better. Do you need help? These civilian Jeeps didn't have the typical jerry can or spare tire on the back because they were designed for agricultural use. Exactly. Can you open the door? And we see that car already with the color, and also, yes, it was one of the colors of that time. It's not 100% accurate because this car is a bit shiny and it should be more matte, but well, shiny paint, not at all. It should be matte. And we also see that the print from Gia, the print is incredible, but look, open it again, look at the back. The print. See how the press stamped the whole tailgate with the reinforcement ribs and with the Willys logo. It's curious, this tailgate is also original, that we restored it using the original chains to open it. Tailgate? I love it. How do you do yours? The care you take with making sure they're original, this adds a little more quality to this collection. Is any of them original? And the last thing we did for it was to get the original exhaust that comes out the back, and it didn't have it before. It had a different exhaust, and we managed to get an original one. And for example, what the military ones don't have is the bumper that goes here. The military version doesn't have this one. And the nice thing is that it's never been installed. There aren't any holes, not even covered ones. You could take a look at the military one you have here. If you pull it a little more forward, well, I can't really pull this one forward, but we can see it here. Does it have bumpers here on this one? Yes, it has a bumper. They also used it to put the military vehicle number on it, the military license plate. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Do you keep them with their license plates? I mean, when they arrive, I imagine they're painted over, maybe to be able to leave the army. They used to paint over them a bit so you couldn't see many numbers and such. And then you have and by scratching, some numbers start to appear, but in some, they don't show up anymore. That must feel bad, I imagine. We'll see it very clearly on the ambulance, since all the markings from that time period have appeared on the ambulance. And with this, you can learn the history of the vehicle, which is what I like most. Knowing the story behind the vehicle, right? Where was it and what did it do? And then trying to preserve the original parts. For example, there are things that are safety features, like the lights, which need to meet a minimum standard to be able to drive on Spanish roads. These lights aren't original. For example, these aren't original. Originally, it had a reflector here, and that's it. And on the left, it had a headlight, all red with a chrome ring. That's why we look for things that resemble the original ones. Without turn signals, it had just a left position and brake light. Nothing else. The red brake light. In the United States, it often also works as a turn signal, but in red. The thing is, here in Europe, they don't appreciate that. In this one, in the mood we set up earlier, we'll see that everything is in red. Now the position light works, and if we turn on the blinker, it's also red, and the brake is also red. Let's turn off the blinker. Yes, steady. And besides, it keeps its lights. Military lights down there. Let's check them out. Okay, now it's showing the military light. This is called military position. And here in Spain, they call them cat's eyes. And in the front, they're known as blackout, which is this light it makes. You can't see it very well here, but it only makes a very thin line of light. At night, it was so that enemy aircraft wouldn't detect them. Which car would we go to from here? Okay, we've seen the civilian Jeep from 49, and from here, the American Army needed a military Jeep again. And from this civilian one, a military version was developed. That would be the M38, which are these two I have here, and the blue one, the one we saw first, which my father had. They're beautiful. The M38S might be my favorite Jeeps, especially the M38. What it has is that it's still Moro Bajo, as they're known. Yes, because I've seen that you had a high nose, which for me aren't the ones I like the most. It's still Moro Bajo. We're talking about it being designed from 1950 to 1952, over 2 years. It's the Jeep that was manufactured the least units, and it's an improved amphibious World War II military Bantam. The 24-volt equipment has many improvements. Gasoline engine. The engine is the same as the one from World War II. The main difference is the reinforced cylinder head, as World War II cylinder heads often bent. This one is already reinforced. Yes, what price does a car like this go for, just like you have it, if I wanted to buy one? It depends on how original they are. The more original parts it has, the more valuable the car is. But the WWIIs are usually valued at around 15,000 to 20,000 euros. It depends. Military, yes, and civilian ones would be worth less money. World War II ones are always worth a bit more. World War II ones are always more expensive because they're the oldest and the ones people look for the most when it comes to World War II reenactments. In France, for example, when we go to Normandy, there you only see World War II M38 as, you know? Many people don't appreciate them, and it's a really Jeep. A lot fewer units were made. It's much more comfortable. It goes much better, and well, it's valued less than the World War II models. Well, it's like a Series 1 or a Series 3, right? Would it be more or less the same? Because in between, there's the civilian one. The civilians, I imagine they're the least common. Valued. What happens with the civilians is that a lot of people have bought civilian Jeeps and turned them into military ones. For example, they've turned a civilian Jeep into an M38. And here, someone who doesn't know about Jeeps sees a Willys, but when you look into the history a bit, you see that it's actually a civilian Jeep painted green. And for me, it's more valuable in its civilian state. With the seats, in this case black vinyl, and the interior also in black. No, not all are green or sand. It depends on the model. We haven't seen the seats on these, and I imagine you have them with the original seats. That one over there does have the original seats. The green one, let's take a look at the green one. And they upholstered them in sand color, like the car. That wouldn't be correct, but I still need to change this. How many things do you have left to do? No? Yes, luckily you're young. Never. And I think you'll have enough time in life, right? You never fully finish restoring a car. Little things always come up. Yeah, I know. This one looks very original, everything inside. It still has all the plates like before. Exactly. We've seen it, but these are in much better condition than the other one. I see you have a bunch of levers here. Yes. Here you can already see a Land Rover, the 4x4, the gear shift. Sorry. Here we have the 4x4, which is now engaged, and the low-range gear, which is also on. And the other one, and this one. Here we have the lever to use the front winch, the power takeoff. Okay, the power takeoff, which activates the front winch, which is mechanical. Everything's simpler than the Land Rover, right? Just push levers. Does it move forward or backward? Now we're in normal gears, though. There's always an order. First change gears, then the 4x4. And if it gets more complex, the reducer. And also the start. It's let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Okay, who's that? Ah, no, who's here? Is it speaker? Well, it's a private collection, and what we are very clear about is that we enjoy them. The cars are not static. All these cars are ready to go out and drive as many miles as needed with them. Yes, you can see in Terrassa if you come one day, if not, his mother, his father, or he himself driving one of these Jeeps. I've seen it several times already, and it amuses me when I see it. I say, look at the achievement of the Jeeps from Terrassa. For example, many times when I go home for the weekend or whatever, we go with the Jeeps, and the more they run, the more they drive, the better they work. Mark, do you know this with your cars? Yes, yes, yes. The less time they spend parked, the better they run. It's clear to me that you restore them yourselves, but do you ever take the cars to a mechanic's shop for something specific? Cleaning. The only thing we have to take to a mechanic's shop is just that. For example, cleaning inside the engine block, if a car overheats or if a radiator needs to be taken apart. That's the only thing we don't do ourselves. What has been the most difficult restoration project? Well, this sand-colored one, everything has been done from scratch, taken apart piece by piece, completely. If we lift the hood, we'll see it. Did you buy it? I see in very bad condition. This car, the only thing they had done to it was the bodywork. All the mechanics were complete, but it didn't run well. This car wasn't well made. And things that had been done wrong had to be redone. The ones from World War II, I mean the oldest ones, it does have a spotlight. And that same spotlight lights up the engine in case it needs to be repaired. But the ones that would be, did you say M38? These don't have this spotlight thing. I've noticed the spotlight doesn't turn, but for those of you who have never seen it, do you see? It has this curiosity that if we hadn't done this in the video, it would have even looked bad. You can even rotate and adjust the spotlight, right? Not now, it's tight. There's a nut here you can tighten. It's the one that also lets you focus it, but it's tight because it's in the right position. So it can turn, so it focuses well. But by loosening here, we could turn the light to focus on the oil filter, on the distributor, or wherever we want like this. And when it broke down at night, they could repair the Jeep. From the M38, which, as I told you, World War II is the military bantam. This one was called MC, which we call M38. But there was also the MA, which you don't see much here in Spain, which is also from World War II. The military bantam, which is the typical Willys from World War II, the MC, which is the M38, and the M38A1, which is the M38A1. Here we can already see that the Jeep's design is completely different. Now the front end is rounder, which reminds us of the Renegade, and this is when the civilian versions came out, which would be the civilian Jeep 5 and Renegade. Here they already changed the engine. It's much bigger. Here we have it. The engine block is the same, only the cylinder head changes, which we already have. The intake valves are on top in the cylinder head, and the exhaust valves are below in the block. But the block, pistons, and everything else are the same. It's just this small difference in the cylinder head. It gives us 12 more horsepower than a 60 horsepower car, and with few horsepower like the Willys, you really notice it. A lot. Which one is your favorite out of all the ones you have? The ones I like the most are the World War II models, the MDs. But I have to admit that the best Jeep ever built is the M38. It's an improved version of the first models. It still has a very classic design, not like this one, which changes a little bit. And this is a classic design, and it's still very beautiful with a better engine, and I imagine also steering. And above all, where it improved the most is in passenger comfort, the comfort of the soldiers. In this case, and in the gear shifting is very noticeable. It's still a 3-speed, but now the gear shift is much more robust. It can go faster or slower depending on your preference. First gear and the low gear are slower than in the World War II model. And what do you like most about this model? In the M38A1. Man, the M38A1 is the evolution of the M38. Well, the A1, the M38A1. And about this one, what would you highlight? You really notice this one when you hit the road, especially because of the engine power. These 12 extra horsepower. On the road, the car stretches out a lot more. The size of the tires also changes. They're also much bigger, right? In World War II, we had 6.00 by 16, and here we already have 7.00 by 16, just like in the M38, the same. But this also means you can go a bit faster. It's like the same evolution that Land Rovers had when it was a Series 89. They also came with the 6.0, and when it was the 109, it came with the 7.0. I mean, it's funny that the English were doing the same thing as the Americans at that time. And also, the differentials are much more resistant. Do you brake less when you drive on rocky roads or something like that? In the end, the police will come, right? Well, if you want to see it from the inside, right now I have it covered with the tarp. The tarp is original too. You can already see it's very heavy, very thick. Yes, heavy, worn out here. But this is what makes the car even more beautiful. You know what I like about talking with you? And it's because I see that we have a significant age difference, but we think pretty much the same. I mean, finding things that are closest to the original, the things most similar to the original. Do you like things that are worn out? A lot, yes. The patina, exactly. The patina that I always say, wow, what a beautiful patina. Well, all of these. Even with the civilian one there, it's paint shinier than you'd prefer. It still has that beautiful patina, right?
in some places. That's why we don't paint it, because it's painted in a color very similar to the ones from the 1950s. Late 49, but with a bit more shine than it should have. And this box here, what is this? This is a light. It's portable. You just unhook it. If you have a light with different colored glass, green, red, and yellow, in this case it would be just red. The red, yes. Like this, it's a bit raised, but if you lower it down, it would make the light red. Ah, very good. And what did they use it for? Sorry for my ignorance. Well, a flashlight for focusing had quite a bit of autonomy. It ran on a battery. In red, or by taking out the white glass, a normal flashlight. And why did they put it in red? To make signals? Ah, okay, there was already red, green, or yellow. See how into military stuff I am? Yeah. Now, if you want, we can take a look at the trailers. There are also trailers. Each model has its own trailer. All right, let's go. Here you see a Willys disassembled in a trailer since we had nowhere else to put it. You took the Willys apart. Exactly, it's to be restored. It's in the process of restoration. This would be a high-nose American, not Spanish, a Willys civilian Jeep, 3B from 1956. All right, and is it here? It's more or less sanded and about to be painted. Afterwards, we can look at the trailers. Here we have the M38 model, where the lights and the tires are the same as the cars. Next, here we can see a Ford Moot, which is like the one we took for a spin earlier. A vehicle that already has an inertia brake on the drawbar. So on the car we just took for a spin, could you actually attach this trailer to it? Is it yours? Yes, and also down there, where we'll go now, we'll see the World War II model, which is a Bantam. Yes. Yes, here we have the Bantam trailer, which is the World War II model, which is a curious fact about this brand. Bantam was the one who won the contest to manufacture the Jeeps for the war. Bantam was supposed to manufacture them, but Bantam as a company couldn't handle all the production of the military vehicles. They wouldn't be able to meet what the army was demanding at that time. And the production was shared between Willys and Ford, and Bantam was left with the manufacturing of the trailers for the Willys vehicles. Here we can see its plate, where the signature of American Bantam car appears. Corporation? This trailer is quite original. It had been outdoors for many years. It hasn't been painted, but here it has a small rust spot, which I have to fix. But these trailers used to suffer from... They used to leave them tilted with this on the ground. Water would collect in the leg, and when the hole got clogged, well, the water would start to rot and look for a way out. As a curiosity, we can see that the size of the drawbar is much narrower than in the M38 model. These are hard to find in their original form, so it's true that now they make replicas. World War II, you can get a lot of things. Replica. This one, in particular, is original. Yeah, you can see how worn it is from the passage of time. I don't know if you can tell. Can you see the rust spots on the iron? And that shovel you have back there, is it also going to be restored? Well, this shovel isn't original. It's not military, but since it's already old, it's made entirely of iron. Well, as a prop for a truck, it could be useful for something. Just like this very old ladder, it could be for the ambulance or for the truck. Me, this shovel would be better in my Cadillac. It's a trunk. What else can you show us? Because we haven't seen the ambulance, and I really want to see this ambulance, and we haven't been able to see it. And since we're here, we'll see Moro Alto model. This Moro Alto model is Spanish. It's a Viasa, one of the first gasoline engine ones. How strange. These took advantage of the chassis, differentials, and mechanics from World War II models. They copied it, but with American 1950s bodies so they could fit the engine. The Hurricane, known as the high-head one. But they still had World War II engines, also with wooden mounts. Exactly.
And this one is in military version because it's meant to imitate an M606, which is the American Moro Alto model that was made for the war. That wouldn't be right. This car was originally yellow, it was civilian, but when it was restored at the time, it was turned into a military vehicle when it really should be civilian. It was made for civilians. So what year is this car? This one is from the early 60s, 62, 61, something like that. But I see that it's been re-registered, yes. So at some point, this car was military, and then maybe it was used in some public service, like for the highways or something like that, or military and military service, but from the Spanish army. Yes, no, American, not American. Sorry, this here, what is this? This is the base for the antenna. This is known as the MP50 base, and it's for mounting the antenna for the Jeep's radio. In this case, this one lacks radios, but they can be added. And the antenna would go here, with the cable coming out from underneath to provide the signal. Here we see another one in a different position. Now I see it with the antenna. This one is clearer. Here you can see it installed. And there are 3 antenna sections. Would they use all 3 sections? There are 3 plus 1, but you can add 2 more. Oh my, it's really tall. I don't know if you can see it because of the lighting, but can you see how tall it is? And this is just the first section. It almost reaches the ceiling. Yes, it fits, just barely. When I set it up, it just barely fits. Interesting. We'll have to see. A pretty rare piece to see is the trailer of the General Motors Company, the World War II truck. But the unique thing about this trailer is that it's made of wood. It's not made of iron, it's made of wood, and it still has all the original wood with some markings. Here you can see it's original from that time, extra contrast. A friend from Cerdagne gave this to us. He had been in Cerdagne, this trailer in Alp specifically. I imagine that first it was in Bueno, it was in France, of course. It probably came in through France. But what's curious is that all the wood had also been preserved, even though it's made of wood. Exactly. A lot of people tend to think that the first ones were made of wood and the last ones of iron, but it's actually the other way around. At the end of the war, they ran out of iron and started making them out of wood. So the oldest ones, from 1941 to mid-1944, they were made of iron. From mid-1944 to the end of 1945, they were made of wood. The earliest were iron. That's what ended World War II because they ran out of metal, and they would have run out of wood too. And here we can see the tires we were talking about earlier, which I'm gradually changing from the truck. They're all in here. Are these the new ones you want to change? Yes. Are you doing it gradually? Gradually. Because these are tires that come with a rim, and it's a bit difficult to handle these tires. There's a video on the channel where I change a tire with a rim. And can I tell this gentleman that it's really crazy to do it? Yes, because it's also dangerous. A lot of people have gotten hurt with this kind of tire, especially truck tires. Car tires are smaller, but truck tires, I can't imagine it. When you find the position for the rim and inflate it, you have to leave it for a few hours to make sure it doesn't pop off, because rims and people have popped off. People have gotten really hurt with this. Do you do it by yourself? Can you change it? Or do you need someone to change it for you? I use levers to do it myself. My father helps, and we change it together. Sometimes the hardest part is breaking the bead on the tires that are already on, the rims that are mounted. Sometimes because of rust, they're stuck, and we have to take them. Another thing we take to get done is sandblasting. We take it to Monistrol, to Montserrat, and there they sandblast it for us. They leave it perfect for painting with primer, and then you reinstall it. Exactly, a lot of work, right? Yes, it really is. Are we seeing the ambulance, or do you want to show me something else? Can we go see the ambulance? Finally, guys, let's go see the ambulance. The best for the... This 68 ambulance is completely original. It has never been restored or had anything done to it. The only thing they've done is install some turn signal lights. That's the only thing it has that's not true to the era. It's the only truck. These lights are from a Land Rover, right? Not really similar. I don't know, it's the only model. I like the car more now and its value has already increased, right? Yes, it's the only truck, let's say, that Jeep has made. Jeep had always made light vehicles. They started making pickups. And this, if you look at the hood and the front, is very similar to the first Cherokees that came out. Yes, yes, the Cherokee Chief, as it was called, has that vibe, yes. The hood, I would say, could be interchangeable, and the design looks really basic. Could a child have made it? It's very boxy, right? The engine too. Yes, we have one made by Jeep, the Tornado engine. This is already a more modern engine. Also amphibious, 24 volts carburetor. Holly. And this one, well, everything is original. Where did you find it? This ambulance, did it also come from nearby here? But the first person who took it out of the American Army was in Vic. They took it out of the Army in Vic at an auction. And for a couple of years, it provided support at the Baja Aragon rally. It was used for mechanical assistance. Interesting. Can we include it? Start? Is it also that easy to start it? Yes, you just have to press the button. Let's see here. Okay, this is made by the Army itself. These markings, it's beautiful, right? Doesn't it have the ignition here like the M38S? And would we have to pull it a bit? Starter? Oh my goodness, do all the cars start on the first try? Yeah, on the first try, I think I'll bring you my cars to fix, okay? You're a genius. Here we see the electrical installation of the dashboard. If you turn off the light, you'll see it better with the red light. I don't know if you can see it, so it doesn't bother your eyes. I'm going to stop it. If not, we'll drink here. Inside. And now what we'll do is push it forward. Look behind, there are the stretchers. Could you have moved it while running? Yes, but I must check nothing's underneath and we don't break it. Yes, there is. It has an exhaust pipe, probably on the side, right? Yes, it comes out the rear side. Since it comes out a little every time I start it up, it makes a little bit of smoke. This one has the original paint, also nice and a bit scratched. The Red Cross markings have come out. Here you can see a bit how the cross looked with the white background. Some markings have come out here. Tie down here. Also, and here we're going to see it from inside. Come through here if you want. Mark, this is a staircase to go up to. Wow, so everything here is made of iron, right? Yes. With the stretcher combination, here the stretcher is set up, yes. And the one down here I have folded, it can carry 4 stretchers. And this we have removed from the ladder is the chair where the doctor used to sit. See? Here's where the ambulance doctor used to sit. Or functions, yes, ladder and chair. Curiously, it's listed with 9 seats, and this is one of them. See, do you already need a truck license? No? This is under 3,500 kilos, and with a B license, you can drive it just fine. And if you lower this piece here, if you lower it, it would be like it is on this side. And to be able to carry troops, seated soldiers, you get in through here. And you can sit here, and it's quite comfortable. It has like a working breathing ventilation feature. Everything one and the other. It has a light here to signal the ambulance's entrance, but in red so the enemy wouldn't see the light. Also, original. What's left is really cool and rare to see. Wait, I'm coming up. Good timing. Hello, maybe it's better if the light comes on. Here's the light to operate, let's say. Whoa, a spotlight. The original one moves, and would that be the light that the doctor had available to work inside the ambulance? Oh my god, original. What if you had to be operated on? The light is tiny. Now you see an ambulance and you're saved. This ambulance wasn't saved. No way. Here we can also see the door to separate the compartment. The wooden driver's area with a vent and a window, also original. And interestingly, it has a gasoline heater, like the ones in campers here. Down below it has a heater that takes gasoline from the tank and it works. I don't remember exactly how it is too. Marta? Amazing, but it wasn't quiet, was it? Maybe the light was so enemies couldn't see you, but with all that noise they knew exactly where you were, right? Look at this. The heater's already on. That's risky since it's gasoline, not diesel. Yeah. Here it is, and it hasn't... One of the things we haven't told you is that the M38, and I'm not sure if the M38A1 as well, went to the Korean War and some also to the Vietnam War. And the MUTs he's referring to are the ones from the Vietnam War. So let's see. This would be the M151A1. This one is in perfect condition. The only thing I still need to install is the windshield glass. This one is just like the one we took out for a spin. The engine is exactly the same, just a couple of things are different in the fuel system. And here the turn signals are a bit different. We'll compare them later. And these were designed to go to the Vietnam War and later some of them to the Gulf War. And I see you have another model there as well. This one and this one are the same, but this one is waiting to be restored. I see that. Now we've taken out the engine, we're getting it ready. We're getting everything in the transmission tunnel, ready to install an engine that's already painted and everything. Yeah, these, for example, come from the desert. They were in the desert, I think the Arab Emirates or somewhere around there. Did you buy it from there? Well, we bought it here already, but they brought it from there, okay? With a trailer. Well, it's been a super interesting morning. We've learned about the differences between the Jeeps. We've met you. I see you know a lot about these vehicles, and thank you very much. You can't know everything. There are so many vehicles. Thank you very much for this pleasant time. Same to you. And for meeting you, because I really only knew you by sight. But now I can certify you as a Jeep fanatic. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. See you later, or that's all for today. It will soon be on our website, WWII. Garage is for sale, so don't miss it. And to finish the visit, they take me to my car in a... M38. Let's go. Everything here seems food related compared to the world. Yes, the engine is smoother than this one. More of a car now. Yes, more modern. Wow, they... Police, will they talk to us? No, let's hope not. The MUT already has 4 gears, but this one got stuck. Third, but it didn't need more either in the war. But they can be used perfectly well to drive around the modern city, yes. Yes, fun is guaranteed. This isn't just going around the city to run an errand. It's totally super fun, and it actually makes you want to run more errands with your wife. So I recommend you buy one of these Jeeps for running the usual errands around the... city. Now I'm really saying goodbye. We're saying goodbye. Thank you very much. Goodbye.